.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here it is, Thanksgiving Eve.
Yes.
Time for a Stampede.
Dallas Cowboys. The gold team of the senior pros. The whole world here are
I don't sing.
Did they play this before the 1966 Thanksgiving Day game?
Why 66? Is that the
I don't know, that's the first one. I think they probably did. It was your halftime entertainment. It has gone from Stampede to Dolly.
I bet it was a high school marching band.
That's right.
Or Grambling, one of the two.
No, Grambling. Grambling jams. That was not a jam.
And here we are getting you ready for your Thanksgiving Day. Many things to be thankful for, and one of those is the fact we can watch the Cowboys every Thanksgiving Day.
So true.
56th year that the Cowboys have played on Thanksgiving Day. Have only missed a couple since 1966. That was 1975 and 1977, back when Everson Walls was a Berkner Ram.
That's right, baby.
Did you
In
watch?
75, I wasn't even playing sports.
You weren't. You were a late bloomer, weren't you?
No, I was a hardhead.
We're thankful for your honesty.
Yes. I was not a late bloomer at all. Well, somewhat of a late bloomer, but yeah. We'll have to talk about that off the air.
So did you watch the games, though?
I did.
Of
Yes, I
course.
did.
Bill?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. In fact, one of the great memories would have been the triumph of the uncluttered mind.
Yes.
In 1974. 74. Clint Longley comes off the bench to Drew Pearson against this Washington team.
That's right.
Which, by the way, I was just referencing it in my Mick Shots for the website that one year we were in Georgetown before a Washington game, and we started chatting up this guy, and he was a big Redskins fan. They were the Redskins back then. And we started talking, and he goes, I'll just tell you this. I'm still sick to my stomach about that Clint Longley that upset my Thanksgiving Day meal. And this would have been somewhere in the 90s, right? So 20-some years later, or 30 years later, this guy was still sick about it.
Well, you know, it's amazing. Drew was just that guy. I mean, there was always the moment. He was always big in the moment, you know. How does he get deep on people as slow as he is? I'm faster than Drew.
And he
always seemed to get
he would admit that,
deep
too.
for a touchdown. I mean, he had that knack. He had the ability to use everything that he had, and he didn't have much. He didn't have much at all.
You know, and that's why, you know, it was so hard for him to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame because they start looking at stats, and they should have started counting moments. Right? Then that's worth being preserved. So, Savannah, did you watch Cowboys on Thanksgiving growing up?
I did.
Any chance?
I did.
Yes.
I can recall a few games that we watched on Thanksgiving. We always had football on in the house, so it's just one of those Thanksgiving traditions. I can't recall any specific games, but I will say my parents are big Vikings fans, so they're from Minnesota, so they used to.
Right.
So they remember 1987 when the Minnesota Vikings came to Texas Stadium. It was a classic game.
So, yes, I'm sure that game was on.
44-38, Vikings won.
That was a crazy game.
It was.
Oh, my God. I was looking at that the other day.
That was Renfro's game. Was Mike Renfro?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He had a huge game for the Cowboys.
That's Mike. I call him my favorite white boy. I do. Every time I see him, that's my dude, man. I just remember watching him practice. And, you know, he used to be a speedster, you know, back in the day. Then he messed his knee up. And just watching him run on that knee, he would kind of use it to his advantage because, you know, you think he's running slowly. but he's really not. And then he puts these moves down with that leg, and it didn't look like it was natural. So he was really, an odd route runner, but he was very good. I remember against the Patriots, we were in Boston, and it was 4th and something. And I remember for some reason, Lepet, the cornerback, he bites on an out route. And it's like 4th and 20. He bites on an out route. And I look up, and I'm on the sideline. We're about to lose the game. I'm on the sideline, and the ball, Danny threw a ball. It was one of the prettiest passes I've ever seen in my life. It looked like it was coming right at me. And I'm like, wow, that's such a pretty pass. And I look down the sidelines, and there is Renfro running all by himself. And that was the prettiest sight I'd ever seen, was him bringing that ball in. And I remember they teased me about it afterwards because I was so excited. I was, I don't do that there. I was doing the towel thing. I don't know why I was so geeked up about that moment. So they said they clowned me in the offensive room when I did that.
When you did it?
Yeah, like, Everson's really excited about this game.
That was a 23-17 win over the Patriots.
Was that overtime?
It doesn't say.
I think that's when Herschel went off tackle on the left side.
November 15th, 1987. That was 2 weeks prior to that Thanksgiving Day game.
I was at that game.
I think that was overtime.
Yeah,
because my boy Chandler threw the block.
Didn't he go like?
He went like 40-something yards,
60 yards or something for the winning touchdown.
Was overtime. I remember that.
It was overtime. What a great memory.
Yeah.
And it was
Herschel 60 yards for the touchdown.
If I remember, it was like really cold.
Yes, it was. I think that's the reason I was jumping around too.
The wind
so
was
I wouldn't
blowing
freeze to death.
because it was at the old.
It was at the old one.
What, Gillette?
Of course.
Gillette Stadium.
Yes. One way in, one way out.
So growing up, I was thankful for the Cowboys because they were on television around 3 or 3:30, and we would have big family Thanksgiving dinner in the basement of my Aunt Pat's house. And when we finished dinner, I was like, well, I got to go watch football. And my aunts would go, yeah, Mickey's got to watch football. So I was excused to go upstairs because there's only one TV in the house,
of course,
right?
Of course.
Then the next thing I know, my uncles are coming up. They go, well, we got to keep Mickey company. And they'd come up and fall asleep.
Well, they didn't want to be downstairs alone.
Yeah, they didn't either, right?
You would have your turkey dinner prior to the game,
the game.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
I was going to say, were they asleep before or after eating?
Yeah, that's what the
It was
Lions
after.
game is for.
The Lions game is always at noon.
The Lions game
Yes.
is for the dinner. It's the background for
background
turkey dinner.
noise.
Exactly.
It's
That's right.
just background
That's
noise.
right. And then about 2:30, 3 o'clock, everyone
Gets fired
collapses on the couch or on the floor in front of the TV, and
Right.
you get your nap in before the game starts at 3:30. That's why they push the kickoff back to 3:30. Everyone can get their nap in and then get
It's all
rejuvenated
planned
at
out.
3:30. That's right. It's all
now,
planned around it.
Now, after all these years, it's Thanksgiving's just Thursday,
Well, that's the thing. Like for football people that are involved with football, there's not a holiday really.
Yeah.
If you're on a team, and that goes for college. For most colleges that are playing this weekend, some seasons are over before Thanksgiving, but I mean, even for teams that are not playing on Thursday, Thursday's a heavy practice day around the
And
league.
you play Friday, and then you play Saturday, and there's
As
really
far as college
no break,
goes,
right?
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
practicing.
Except if you're Ole Miss, Mississippi State, you got the Egg Bowl on Thursday.
And I'm glad you brought that up because this is actually the 10-year anniversary of Dak Prescott, one of the great Egg Bowl games ever played was Dak. It was 10 years ago, 3 weeks earlier, early November, his mom had passed away, and a few days after that, he played against Texas A&M, got hurt, and it was that one of those like the Brock Purdy injury where he actually couldn't feel anything in his arm, whatever, and so he rehabbed it for a couple of weeks, whatever, and so he was not cleared to play in the Egg Bowl against Mississippi, and so he's on the bench throughout the game, and Mississippi State falls behind, and fourth quarter, here comes Dak off the bench, and he not only can throw the football, he not only can run the football, but he can throw it too, and he scored the winning touchdown to beat Ole Miss in that Egg Bowl. That was 10 years ago. That was the first time really that Dak got on the national map, so to speak, but really cool moment in his career.
So 40 years ago was when I covered my last Egg Bowl. covered 3 of them.
Yeah.
I was there. Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
I did not know that was a thing.
That was a big
Oh,
deal
yeah.
because
Huge Mississippi rivalry.
The stadiums at that time weren't big enough for that big of a game, so they played it at Mississippi Memorial Stadium in Jackson. We did.
I played there for. Yeah, I played
We had
there.
a special section for the newspaper just on the Egg Bowl, and we would write a story about each quarter. There would be a story on each quarter in the paper the next day.
Okay.
And I remember one. It was a windy day, and I think Mississippi State was trying to kick the winning field goal, and it was a short chip shot, but it was into the wind. The wind was blowing so hard that the ball got to the goal, the crossbar, and it blew it back. It never crossed. So
did
they
you-
didn't win the game.
Did you cover the Archie Manning Egg Bowl when he played?
No, Bill.
Sorry.
That would have been just a tad before my time.
Not far, but a little before
John
your time.
Forcade.
Oh, yeah, John
Oh, wow.
Forcade.
John
Okay.
Forcade.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, our Mississippi State talk will continue in a moment.
That was Ole Miss. By the way.
Yeah. Everson, do you have any fond memories of Thanksgiving Day games yourself?
No, not really. I mean, it was always just hectic. That's all.
Would you like me to remind you of some games you played in?
guess
That was
so.
the
I don't
research
know.
I was
I-
doing.
I-
as
Get into it.
Yeah. What did
I was
do?
jotting down a
What did
bunch
I
of
not
notes.
Do? What did I not
I was-
do?
So you were studying Everson.
I was. You asked me what I was doing. I'm studying Everson Walls. So I'm studying Thanksgiving days with Everson starting in 1981. Did you know, Everson, that you won the first 5 Thanksgiving Day games
Yes.
you played in?
Well, I knew we had a streak going.
Yeah,
My
81
personal
through
streak
85, you were winner. You walked off the field winners.
Yep.
86 through 89, you walked off the field losers. You were
Pretty
5
much
and
goes the way
4
trend-
in your
we
career.
were trending downward.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know what? If you go back through history, you'll find that usually when the Cowboys have a good team, they win on Thanksgiving
Yeah,
Day, and when they're not so good, they lose on Thanksgiving Day.
That's what my research taught me when everybody said, well, the Cowboys have an unfair advantage on Thanksgiving. And it's like, yeah. And when they were bad, it wasn't unfair, right? Exactly what Bill said.
You had 2 picks, by the way, in your second Thanksgiving Day game against Cleveland in 1982.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, now
you
now it
finished-
comes back.
Ricky Feature.
What
Yeah,
you
was a
finished
wide
with
receiver.
7, right?
What?
Picks that year. 7?
Rookie year?
Yeah, it
No,
was 82.
82.
Oh,
in
82.
the
yeah,
shortened
yeah,
season.
In
short
9
season.
games.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
He would have had.
Has anybody had 7 other than Diggs since?
You mean in the NFL?
No, for the Cowboys.
Oh, for the Cowboys, no. Diggs,
Right?
Diggs was the only one that got that close.
So 11 and 7.
Yeah.
And that's nobody with more. And right now, Bland has
By the way, the NFC
Yes.
Defensive Player of the Week, DaRon Bland. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We love that.
and he
you
has
believe that?
6 now. 6 this year, is that right?
He got 4
He does have 6 this year, yes.
6, right?
and 4 return for
4
touchdowns.
return for
Hey,
touchdown.
man.
He's after you
He could
again.
make a run.
He's after
He
you.
could make a run. We're sitting here talking. He could make a run. That would be kind of cool. We got 2 guys coming after me.
So all the top games he had to tie the NFL single season record for interception returns for a touchdown to be named Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was like, oh well.
I think they go by reputation. You think? Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's working out real well
Yeah,
for him.
it is
If
right
they go
now.
by reputation on all pro teams and so forth, he's now established himself that
That's
everyone, I can't remember who, Greg Olson, I guess, was doing the game. I mean, he put him on the all pro team
Yeah,
as soon as
yeah.
he made it to the end zone.
I
that
mean,
day.
if he picks one on Thanksgiving when everybody's watching, oh my.
it'd be like Diggs all over again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Now this would be great because, Bland is one of those guys that we needed to step up. You
Right.
know, our secondary, when we're kind of delicate in the NFL these days. You miss one particular player, then it's like a domino effect. It just seems to affect everyone. If we would have had problems in the secondary and Bland would have been part of those problems, then we would have been looking at a totally different season right now.
Well,
But we have
after losing
confidence.
Diggs,
There you
right?
go. And
Yeah.
now you've got, Bland is saving the day. He's a guy that, regardless of our inconsistencies since Diggs got hurt, Bland is one of those guys that has been consistent. I mean, it's kind of hard to to believe that when we were looking at DaRon was being the guy at first, and Donovan was really playing well. I'm talking about last year. But Bland is the one, to me, this year that's showing what a real pro is all about.
And think about it, he was starting in the slot to start the season. And then when that happened, it's like, okay, you got to go outside.
Yeah. Well, see, that's interesting. Yeah, it's because, that's kind of the way I thought. It doesn't matter what side. It just really doesn't. In or out. He's a player. And that's what I like about him. You don't really get, most veterans don't really get that kind of ability early on in their career. I know I had to play the slot some, but mostly I was outside. I didn't start really playing the slot on third down when I was in New York.
Yeah,
It took me 9 years before, and I wasn't that comfortable there because it's a rough position. But, my experience paid off. He really doesn't have that much experience, and yet here he is. He can play any side. That's a luxury, to play any particular position in that secondary, whether it's the slot, left or right.
So they did recognize him in the team meeting this week after last Sunday's game. And then Coach McCarthy said in the press conference on Monday, I don't know why we keep talking about him as a surprise. He's just, when he gets on the field, I think he switches that flip.
Yeah.
And he's just a different person on the field. When we talk to him in the locker room, he's a little more shy and timid. But I think when he gets out there, he's ready to go.
He played wide receiver.
Exactly.
You see? He played wide receiver.
There's the key. He had a wide receiver personality.
Come on, man. I mean, that's all I did in high school. I didn't want to be.
That's what I was about to ask you. At Berkner, you played wide receiver.
I played wide receiver. I called a touchdown. I wasn't starting. I called a touchdown first.
That's
first
because
time
you
I got
had
in the
a
game.
troubled past.
No, that was not it. That was not it. My brother, Mr. Haas, he was a returning senior. He's slower than me. Like, damn. But see, every time
those coaches that'll play the seniors instead of the
and the
young
moms
guys.
that bring the cupcakes. My mom just didn't bring cupcakes to the meetings. That's all that was. So we ended up, those boosters.
bribed them
Yeah,
with-
come
to the
on. You know
meeting.
how that goes, man. You know how that goes. My mom was working too hard. She ain't got time to make no cupcakes. So, we sat there, and what you saw was the slower. They liked him because his name was Haas. They liked him because he was just one of those veterans that you could depend on. But every time I came in the game, they knew I was going to be the guy to get the ball. You see? So I come in the game. Oh, there's number 80 right here. They come, watch the reverse. Oh, he's going to go for that route. They already knew what I was running. So every time I came in the game, they knew we were trying to score.
So when did you convert to cornerback?
At Grambling. I had to. They wouldn't let me play. I couldn't find a spot anywhere else. I came as a safety. And after playing so much one-on-one, that's just, that's a DB's thing. One-on-one practice. That's when you show what kind of man you are. And eventually I got pretty good at it. So I came as a safety, but I'm a.
Did they take 40 times and the fast guys play wide receiver and the slower guys play DB?
No. That's not how it went. No. But we would have big time races before practice. Our conditioning was before practice, so we raced each other before practice, and I actually got a little faster, but not as fast as those.
So you
guys
did your Eddie Robinson did the conditioning before practice.
Yes. We stretch, we do calisthenics, then we run, then we do the bag work, and then we do one-on-one. We are exhausted by half of practice. Exhausted. So he always said, he got it from Vince Lombardi.
Interesting.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all. He got that from Vince, and he used to say it all the time.
They let you race backpedaling?
They didn't, but if they could,
You could have
I
won
would
that.
win. I was the best. Even in elementary school, I could run backwards. I don't know why. I just, hey, this is easy.
It was second nature, yeah.
Second nature. Go forward, damn, they're way up there.
All right, we're just getting started on a Thanksgiving edition of Mick Shots, and we continue in a moment.
Let's go over.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, apparently Everson and Mickey have an appearance to make after the show.
We do.
Tell us about this.
Star Sports Tours they do a reception the day before the game. It's usually a Saturday, and they do it from about 12:30 to 2 or 3 o'clock. And Everson and I are on stage at 1:15 today, doing a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
Can anybody show up?
No.
No.
Oh.
unless you're a friend of ours.
Right.
Okay, Savannah, you say, yeah, well, that rules us out.
I don't know. I might be able to squeeze Savannah in.
Yeah.
She would ask nice questions.
Right.
Savannah, so that text line is not doing so hot on this holiday eve.
It is not.
Okay, I've got something
doing
from
too
Twitter
hot.
for you. James Johnson says, "Get in there, Sister Hugh Moeller. Help them out. Give them real insight." I like that. I like that.
That was James. James, don't worry. We're stepping in here real soon.
They were so happy when she came back. I had Twitter was
That's what everyone.
ablaze.
Twitter is thankful for Savannah.
They right the ship.
That's right.
I'm not going anywhere, guys.
That's right.
We'll be
Thank
here.
you.
We'll
All
be
right.
here.
You got any news for us, Mickey? Got anything you want to get us posted on?
Want a quick-
Shaq Leonard, a Cowboy yet?
I got to ask that question. I didn't even know the guy had been released.
That's crazy. I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Does he have to go through waivers?
He does. After the trade deadline,
That's what I
everybody's
thought.
got to go through waivers after
You
the
can't do
trade
any
deadline.
brother lying, like release some
Well,
guy for somebody else,
You know, you could.
but you have to go through waivers.
Yeah, but if that's the way you would work a trade. Okay, if somebody really wanted a player, okay, and you don't work out a trade, but that team, let's say the Colts wanted to get rid of the salary, that's whatever that's left his salary for this season. That's the way a team could then claim him, and then they're on the hook for the contract, whatever. If there was a demand, but there's not demand for Shaq Leonard because of his injuries.
He's going to clear waivers, right?
Yes, I think so. In fact, he may have already.
And if you signed him, you'd sign him to the practice squad.
Now, what team did he get cut from?
Colts. 4-time All-Pro, first 4 years in the league. He only played 3 games last year. He's had a couple of back surgeries, and he is healthy this year, but has played in 9 games. Zaire Franklin has actually moved ahead of him, and Franklin missed a game, and another player got snaps in place of him. He was apparently told on Monday that he was going to be inactive.
I think that's right.
And then he was released on Tuesday.
So Bill, like a good lawyer, knew the answer to his question before he asked
That's
it.
right. You should know.
No.
No, he's not a Cowboy.
Yeah. No, I'm saying you asked if you want him, and I was like, does he clear waivers? And no. I mean, he might clear, but you would put him on the practice squad, right? You're not picking up that contract.
No. And so the Colts are on the hook for what's left. Now, once he clears waivers, he becomes a free agent.
And then somebody might sign him to a practice squad. And you get 3 elevations. You're getting near the end of the season.
That's crazy. You're talking about a hell of a linebacker here.
And when healthy, he's
I remember this guy.
It just goes to show, because he was 2018, second-round draft pick 2018.
He's the lead of the defense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is that
And so
Van Der Esch's year, 2018?
Yep.
Right?
So
And he came out of where? HBCU, right?
yeah, South Carolina State.
South Carolina State.
And I mean, just an amazing start to his. I mean, he was on a Hall of Fame pace the first 4 years of his career, and then has the backside. That linebacker position and the running back position. But that's what's so amazing about a guy like Bobby Wagner, that he's played for so long and been healthy for so long in this, because that position you get hurt.
And, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Ken Norton Jr. He second-round pick, he struggled, and then all of a sudden by 91, he flourished, right? Mm-hmm. And then in 93, he tore his bicep, and the thing it tore from the elbow and kind of rolled up.
Yep, I remember that.
Remember that? And they rolled it back down and would tape it up so he could play that year. And ends up, I believe he got in the Pro Bowl that year, and end up next year as free agency, and he gets a big contract from San Francisco with a signing bonus of all things, because they didn't think they should have signing bonus.
He was such a surprise. We didn't think we had much from him at all.
Right, and he didn't his first couple years, and he got injured.
Man, they had a nickname for him. I can't remember what it was, but
I mean, he was only known for his father being a heavyweight boxer,
champion of the world.
Champion, and then he flourished.
How many Super Bowl rings? 4?
So he got 2 here and one with
was just one
with San Francisco, right?
That's not a bad career for somebody who we thought was a bust.
Right?
Yeah.
Early on.
Early on, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to give you a quick injury update. Rico Dotto has been DNP'd the last 2 days, and McCarthy said today he'll get as needed mode with the ankle. I think they're just trying to push him to Thursday and hope that he can play. So they probably make that decision. Michael Gallup had a personal family deal on Monday and Tuesday, but he got back, so he's good to go. DaRon Bland really is the only guy. Mike said if he's not available today, that speaks for itself tomorrow.
Is it a back?
Back problem. And it happened in the game because I think towards the end,
he didn't have as many snaps.
Wanye Thomas came in and played that spot. And it sounds like CD will be limited today. It said he practiced fully yesterday. They didn't put the pads on. But that Jerry gave him a thumbs up. Dr. Jerry gave him a thumbs up the other day. So
great.
I think they feel confident he'll be able to go. And then Tyron's got a rest day yesterday, and today mostly they were doing 7-on-7. So from a health standpoint, they should be in pretty good shape.
One other note on Shaq Leonard: there will be a team that will pick him up.
Right.
And it sounds like it would be one of someone like the Eagles or the 49ers. The Eagles put Nakobe Dean on injured reserve, and of course, obviously the Cowboys with Leighton's injury, but they love what they've seen so far out of throughout. Well,
Evans
he didn't play much
last game,
but they love what's Marquise Bell's been doing, with Damone Clark, and so it would be
He only had
for depth purposes.
Only had 7 defensive snaps.
So it may be worth Shaq Leonard's self-interest to wait a little bit and see, where the needs arise.
When you ask that question, you got to say, okay, now who am I cutting?
Right.
And they had a hard enough time getting Evans on
right.
the
And then even just for a guy who, and this is what the Colts are running into. Okay, maybe he's not performing all pro status. They're paying him a whole lot of money. I think it was a $98 million contract, and he's now 3 years into that. And they're probably looking at cutting him next year. And they've got other linebackers. And so with a player like that, who's accustomed to playing snaps, how happy is he going to be, and what does that do with the chemistry of the locker room if he's not getting snaps?
If you bring him there, you got to give him snaps.
Right.
He's that guy. He's a high volume player.
Right.
Very, very high energy.
Right. That's why you got to have a spot for him.
Yeah, he's a leader.
Yeah.
He's a leader. He was the leader of that defense too. So.
Yeah. So
I guess if they were winning this year, it'd be a totally different story.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. I mean, the Colts, they're a 500 team or whatever they are right now, and so they're everybody at 500 still in the mix.
Yeah.
But you got to look at your team realistically, and so.
Yeah, suddenly the Cowboys at 7-3. There's only 2 teams basically with a better record, right?
You can do the math on this stuff, and if the Cowboys win tomorrow and they win against Seattle, they could be in a playoff spot situation even before Philadelphia comes to town on December 10th.
For one of 3.
Yeah, for the wild card, when you got 7 teams that make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a widening gap between the top 4 teams basically and everybody else. Now Seattle's in there too, but Seattle hadn't been playing as well lately.
They really have not.
Yeah.
Thus
and they got to play San Francisco tomorrow night, so they're looking at 6-5, and then coming here next Thursday.
That's my required 4-game winning streak heading into the Eagles.
Okay, and so. What concerns you about this Washington team coming in? They have played well against the Eagles 3 weeks ago in a 38-31 game.
Do you want to do that now or after the break?
Yeah, let's do it after the break. And then we got our picks to click. We got our picks to win. And whatever else anyone wants to share about Thanksgiving in years past and what they're going to do on Thanksgiving Day this year when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Experience the most electrifying event of the holiday season, Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant. Every Friday and Saturday night, now through December 16th, Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza ignites the star in Frisco with an unforgettable holiday performance showcasing 65 performers, including the world-renowned Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, Santa Claus, and appearances from your favorite Dallas Cowboys football heroes. Visit thestardistrict.com for more info.
Be a lot of people out there Friday night and Saturday night for that.
They pack it out, that's for sure.
So we got a bunch to get to, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't remember the 60th marking of the assassination of John Kennedy in downtown Dallas today, as a matter of fact. November 22nd.
Some people came in town. They wanted to go down there. I'm like, I've never been there.
No way.
I've never been there.
Is it
To the
is
sixth
it
floor?
I've never been there either.
Like,
I've driven
do they
by.
have like a memorial type of?
Is that what it is?
There-
Is that what it
You
is?
can take a tour
You can take
of
a
the
tour.
sixth floor,
Okay.
the school depository, and then there's a marking on the street where initially he got shot, and then there's people there selling stuff all the time,
Yeah.
right? Old newspapers that they're not old newspapers, but they make the tourists think they are.
Have you gone?
No.
Have you? And you said you
No.
haven't gone.
I
No.
have.
And we've been here all our lives. We never went.
Yep, I always think about it when I drive by there. I haven't driven by there in a long time.
Right.
But
I used to. Well, I mean, when I worked downtown at the paper, so I'd kind of go by there quite a bit. And I've gone like 2 or 3 times.
It's like the Statue of Liberty. A lot of New Yorkers never really been there.
I've been there.
Yeah, I lived there and I didn't go there.
you know what? When we lived in San Antonio, we never went down the Riverwalk. The only time we went down the Riverwalk was when somebody visited. They wanted to go down the Riverwalk.
Right, somebody told me they just came to town.
Nothing
I
against-
I want to go to the Kennedy. I'm like, Kennedy? What? Why do you want to go down there? I just didn't.
Nothing against the Riverwalk,
Yeah,
but
nothing
you
against
haven't missed,
Kennedy's either.
You haven't missed anything. No, the museum's really good, and I always tell people if you have readers or whatever, you better bring your glasses because
Yeah.
there's a lot to read.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It really is, and you guys.
Okay, so Mickey, do you remember that day?
Oh, absolutely. I was in 5th grade.
We were too young.
You
Yeah, I
guys
was
were
too young.
just babies, right?
I was 3.
I wasn't born
Yes,
yet. I know about it.
I
Like,
wasn't even going to go there.
You know, I obviously
Nobody
know
asked you,
about it.
Savannah.
Sorry, guys.
As a matter of fact, because we were in 5th grade and we were the oldest in the elementary school, we got to go in the audio-visual room and watch it on television when the news came up.
The audio visual.
Audio
They have an
visual.
audio visual. We just rolled in the TV.
The TV,
Yeah, you
the
just
TV
rolled
was
in.
on one of
It's
those.
a gymnasium, and you
audio
just, yeah,
visual.
bring
It
in
was
the
on
TV.
one of those rolling
Right, I know
stands
exactly
that
what
would go
you
to the
mean, yeah.
different classes.
They did
right?
have TV, though.
Oh, yes. Black and white.
Black and white.
Black and white.
And you had to have your pliers to turn
You know,
the
that
channel.
that might have been that might have been the first day I saw adults cry.
Yeah.
The teachers were, because I don't think they weren't. My grandparents were still alive. So really, yeah, it was the first time. I mean, that's why I knew this was serious.
Serious stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were there when Walter Cronkite came on and announced that he had passed away.
That's crazy.
Yep. And it was a stigma that Dallas had to live with until the Cowboys got good, if you think about it.
No. they still hold it against us.
I remember doing the
do.
research on that.
Yeah.
They had to go to Cleveland to play the next game. And I remember the guys telling me that when they got to there and got off the bus at the hotel, usually the bellhops would help with the luggage. They got ignored.
Yeah.
They just said, no, we're not taking your stuff up. And they were told, if you go to dinner outside the hotel, make sure you go in a group. And one of the memories the guys had was when they got to the stadium, there were like policemen up on the top of the stadium with rifles, just in case somebody was trying to pull something off.
They thought the Russians were coming.
Probably.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They thought
I remember us looking up in the sky and watching planes if they were coming by. The other thing that happened is when they did the player introductions, when they used to run out there, no one wanted to be the first one to run out. And it was like, no, you go. No, you go.
Well, there shouldn't have been games played that weekend.
You're right.
Yeah, we are different people now.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
right.
thought that was worth mentioning.
It really is.
60
It
years
was.
ago.
It
That's
was.
amazing.
Okay, so I can't remember how I set up this segment.
You went
prior.
to Everson and said, who's your pick to click and what's the score?
Okay, that's
and I
what
don't
we're
know
doing.
if we have a pod kick pick or
We
not.
do. It's what's the score?
It's what's the score?
We always have
The
that.
score
That's
is the pod
nothing.
pick today.
That's
Yep.
the pod pick is going to be what pick your score.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
I got mine.
Okay.
Cowboys going to win. I'm going to go straight to the punchline. Cowboys going to win, I think, 35-20. Only because I think Howell is one of those guys. He's just going to keep chunking and chunking and chunking and chunking until something breaks. And, they got decent wide receivers there. So our offense should be able to control everything. If their DBs can't cover our wide receivers, then it's over from the beginning. Also, my pick to click would be Mr. Pollard. I'm looking at him getting over 100 yards from scrimmage.
Okay, not rushing.
Not rushing.
But rushing and receiving.
Rushing and receiving. No returns, none of that. Simply on standard downs, first or third.
Over 100.
Over 100.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who's next?
Savannah.
All right. We are going with the Cowboys winning 40-14.
Oh.
I think let's go big or go home this week.
They're averaging 40 a game at home anyway,
Exactly.
so
Good
right
point,
on
good
target.
point.
This will be 13 consecutive wins at home if we win tomorrow. So I like that. I think they will score many points. And I think my click to pick is going to be Kevontae Turpin.
Good one.
I have a prediction of him running one in for the touchdown. So let's go with that.
All right.
Running one in for the touchdown. Is that like a punt return or an
Exactly.
end around?
We want a
You
punt
want a
return.
punt return
So,
touchdown.
okay.
That
all
doesn't
right.
get called
special
back.
teams return. Special teams touchdown then.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I should have just left it as running one in for a touchdown. Could be a pass. It could be a end around.
But now that's written down. So we'll
Okay.
see if I get
We'll
my
stick
click to
with
pick.
it. Like you said
next
last
week.
time, I'm sticking with it.
All right.
Okay, Mickey.
I've got the Cowboys winning 30-17.
13-point win.
13-point win because these Thanksgiving games are hard. They're just hard. And my pick to click, since I can't take Micah,
Nope.
I am going to take DeMarcus Lawrence with multiple sacks because this quarterback has been sacked more times than anybody in the NFL so far. Sam Howell has been sacked, and he's also thrown, get this, he's attempted more passes than anybody, completed more passes than anybody, and has more passing yards than anybody, but he's been sacked 51 times.
Is that more than anyone?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's 13 more than the second guy. So I will take DeMarcus Lawrence with multiple sack performance.
Okay, I like it. I
Great.
like it. All right, the Cowboys have, you talk about it's tough to win on Thanksgiving Day. The Cowboys have put up 51 points once before on Thanksgiving Day. That was in 1980, a 51-7 win over the Seattle Seahawks.
None of us remember that.
1980 is not that far back.
40.
The year before Everson became a Cowboy.
That's right.
All right. So I am going to go. This will be the 7th time this season the Cowboys have won a game by 20 or more points. And since the record so far is 51, I'm going with 52 to 20 Cowboys over the Commanders. And just like you, Everson, I think that Sam Howell's going to throw it around the lot. But 51 to 20 is where I'm going. And Wow, where do I go with I mean, I was thinking Cavante Turpin. That was my original. I was thinking Tony Pollard. I'm going to go with Marquise Bell.
I was going to say, you're going defense.
Yeah.
That was my second choice.
Marquise Bell is going to be my pick to click.
What about Sam?
Oh, Sam Williams?
Sam Williams.
Sam's been balling.
Sam on Sam,
Sam's
right?
been balling.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think Bell's going to do? I mean, what?
I think
interception, just a bunch of tackles,
I think he will wind
recovery?
up in the end zone. I'm not sure.
Defensive touchdown?
I think a defensive touchdown,
Okay.
Marquise Bell, and I'm not sure if it's going to be an interception return or a fumble return. But I think that this Washington team is prone to coughing up the football, if I recall.
That's what I recall.
Yeah.
The more throws, the more chances as well. So,
Yep.
yeah, he could get a pick.
Last week, it didn't matter whether they were running with the ball or throwing them with the ball. They were coughing it up. So,
Six times, right?
yep, six giveaways. Okay, what a great football weekend this is.
What after that?
I mean,
What's Oklahoma got?
Well, no, you got the Packers and the Lions, and then while we eat turkey dinner, and then we got the Cowboys and the Commanders, and then tomorrow night, San Francisco and Seattle, and then you got the Egg Bowl. You can flip over and watch a little bit of the Egg Bowl too, and then the college football on Friday. Mickey, any games you care about?
I think Missouri is at Arkansas.
Yep, that's a CBS game in the afternoon.
3 o'clock.
The slate starts, though, with TCU and Oklahoma at 11. Okay, and then you got Texas Tech and Texas at 6:30. Longhorns need a win to clinch a spot in the Big 12 championship game.
In Austin.
It's in Austin. Oregon State and Oregon play that night also.
That's going to be a big game.
Saturday at 11 a.m., Ohio State and Michigan.
That's right.
Number
Why they
2
play it
against
so
number
early?
3. They always do.
But
They
why?
always do.
This weekend.
That's at 11 a.m. That's
Well,
college football for you.
It probably was back in
College
the day.
football, because
it
the
was
college
final
games-
game of the season, right? Now it's not.
No, but
I'll still be having my coffee.
Exactly.
and that's why Texas and Oklahoma are getting out of this conference to go to the SEC, because they're having to play at 11 a.m. every week. But college football games last so long. You know, the NFL keeps it to a 3-hour window, so you can start your game at noon, and you got another game at 3, and then the college football, they go 3.5, 4 hours. So you got to start at 11 a.m. to get all the games in.
So
halftime is always
not
longer than most.
Not only that, the Stars play Vegas tonight.
Yep.
Do you have duty there?
Yes, I will be there.
I was looking for that
6
last
o'clock.
night. I was looking for that last night.
Yeah, it's tonight.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
tonight.
And
Okay.
it's national TV, by the way, so everybody could watch it.
And by the way, there's also high school football playoffs, third round of the playoffs.
Starting tonight?
Friday and
Friday.
Saturday.
Y'all
And
be
then
Sports weekend.
hey, you
No,
have
you missed one.
the Mavericks at the Lakers
Right.
tonight.
Right.
The
That's a good one.
Stars have Calgary on Friday. So we're
That's a good
talking
one.
a lot to watch and pay attention to.
On Saturday, also, I can't believe Bill missed. You got the freaking Bayou Classic, Bill.
Oh,
That's right.
Come on,
Well,
man.
he
How
didn't
you
let me
miss
get
the
to
Bayou
Saturday. I
Classic,
was
man?
only to the 11 a.m.
Come on, you know,
game
it
on
was
Saturday.
it's not down there. It's not down there. It's the 50th anniversary of the Bayou Classic.
Is it really?
The 50th
You ought to go down there.
anniversary. I am.
This is where Everson's going.
You're going down there?
Yes.
All
shut up,
right.
Bill.
Down to the bayou.
They're honoring.
I'm
to the bayou.
gonna be the MC of the coaches banquet. So
Really?
come on, man, we're gonna have fun.
Where do they have that at?
It's at the stadium, you know, the Hyatt, right outside.
Right
the
there
stadium.
next to the
next to the
Superdome?
stadium. Yeah,
Is that Friday night?
that's luncheon for Friday afternoon.
Okay.
It's the
And
lunch.
when's the game?
The game is Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday 3:00.
3 o'clock? On what channel?
NBC.
NBC's got the game. All
NBC
right.
got the
Wow.
game. We got it back, baby. We got
right.
it back. You know, the pandemic brought black people back. We back, baby.
I love it. That's great. And then, but on Saturday night at the Star in Frisco, Jason Witten returns to the Star in Frisco.
wow.
Oh,
His
playoff
team,
game.
Nice.
his Liberty Christian
Yes.
Warriors play in the TAPS Division II state semifinals against Fort Worth All Saints Episcopal.
Nice.
It's at the Star in Frisco. And by the way, I've got a feature on the Witten family that airs on CBS just prior to the game tomorrow. We've got an hour-long special, and it'll air about 2:45 or so. So check that out.
When's the pregame show start?
Pregame show, it starts at 2, NFL Today's at 3, and then the game at 3:30.
Okay.
So there you go.
And you got to work all weekend?
I am not. I'm off.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
How about that?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bill gets to watch all the sports.
You got seniority, man. You shouldn't have to worry about that.
I'm actually, I'll be at the game. We're taping the Mike McCarthy show after the game.
That's what I understand.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, it's a full
It is.
few days.
Oh,
and
it's
Everson and I need to get going.
That's right.
Go.
That's
That's
right.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We will chat at you on Monday after this football feast.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?